Hello everyone. I am Vasudev Agarwal and I am your host today. I welcome you all to Perspective, a podcast by ISTE-VIT. The Indian Society for Technical Education is a non-profit student-run chapter committed to cultivating a strong technical community through impactful events, workshops and initiatives. Perspective is one such initiative where we aim to bridge the gap between experience and aspirations through candid conversations. This isn't just a podcast, it is a lens into real life stories, unfiltered journeys, and many angles that people bring to the same questions we all face in our daily lives. And in that spirit, we have got someone really special with us today. She has built a remarkable career in education and developmental psychology and has guided many students and parents that we can never count. She is an associate professor and the head of Department of Human Development at Mount Carmel College and a research scholar with several publications on adolescent psychology and education of vulnerable children. Please welcome Dr. Sujata Gupta Kedar.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for taking this time and joining us today. How are you?
I'm good. I'm fine. I'm feeling good in this environment of students. This college is very nice. Heard a lot about it. My two children are studying here. So I'm happy and glad. Thank you.
We are delighted to have you, ma'am, today on our podcast. And we are looking forward to listening to your insights. So, ma'am, as we begin our conversation, let us begin with a dilemma that most of the children are facing today. That is, a choice between choosing for placements or going for higher studies. One feels practical and financially responsible, while other feels like a chance to grow and to explore the field that we're working on. So, how should students approach this decision when everything feels so uncertain?
It's actually a dilemma. I agree. I admit it's a dilemma, but now there are two things that you have to understand. One is whether you are, so if there is a financial crunch or financial responsibility that you have, then you are obviously going for a job. But if you are looking for a certain behavior, now there are two things again, that is a job or a career. Now, if you're looking for a job is what? It's a short-term thing that you do to earn your living. Okay, and a career, when you want to make a career, it is something which is a long-term thing, and it is a professional journey that you are making. Now, so yes, when you say uncertain, with job it will be uncertain. So, but you can opt for a job initially because you have to provide to your family, so you can do a job. But ultimately, you will have to go for a higher studies if you want a certain kind of a profession. If you want to have a long-term profession, because the kind of scenarios that are changing in the environment, in the industries, where there is a lot of layoffs and things like that, you will really have to study and do your higher studies. Probably not now if you have a lot of other responsibilities to do, but in the later run you will have to do it. So it is your choice. How do you want to go about it? And each person has their individual factors, So probably, you have a family which cannot financially support you, but there are families who can financially support. So please go for a higher studies, or you can opt for a scholarship. So first option would be that you go for a higher studies, but if there is a problem, personally, I think you can do your job for 2 to 3 years and then you can opt for a higher studies. That is what I will suggest. All right.
That is a very practical way to look at it, ma'am. Taking this a step further, for those students who want to work immediately, this has now become a trend to find a job that on the basis of packages, on the basis of brand name, and how good does it look online. But in my opinion, it doesn't make the right fit. What, according to you, students should actually look for in a company for their first job?
Now, again, there are stages. If you are a fresher, you have to look for growth in learning. That is very, very important. So, I always say to people, For the freshers, it is you should look for work to learn, not to earn. So for the freshers, it should be like that. So the first 5 years of yours should be about learning if you want a permanent good career in your later years. If most of you are looking only for earning in the first few years, you might not end up in a good professional career in the later years because you've not learned. You have to ultimately learn a skill, and that you can only learn if you dive into the pool or into the water. So you first have to learn, and then you can go for earn. That is what I would suggest. So whichever company that you're looking for, the mentorship is very important. So you see that people are teaching you well. You are able to get that environment where you are able to learn very well. Don't look for something work-life balance. Mostly what I see nowadays, students are looking for, the moment they finish their their course, their BTech, they start looking for work-life balance. No, at this stage of your life, it is more about work and less about life when you are into this first few years of your life. So you should be working hard for first 5 years, and then you look for your work-life balance later. So I would say 80% is your work and 20% should be your life. This is what you should see in the first 5 years. And so therefore I would say look for a company which will give you a good environment to learn and grow, and which will give you an environment where you can speak, where they allow you to question them, talk to them. That is what I believe.
That makes a lot of sense. Prioritizing your growth over a brand name. Now, I would like to shift this conversation to look at a broader picture. From when you were a student to our generation, I believe there has been a huge shift in how young people are looking for a college life. And what are the major changes that stand out to you? And how do you think it is impacting the student's life today?
I think it's impacting a lot. Our times and this time, there's a huge difference. Most of the institutions now are more commercial. I know it is a hardcore fact. It's very commercial, and teacher-student relationships have actually weakened nowadays. It's not that strong. And the education, the kind of education has actually shrunk into semester systems. So everything that is there, you have to learn in those 3 months or 4 months, and it's like a lot of burden on all of you, I feel. So a lot of assignments. Every teacher and everybody is telling you to really, finish the task, give assignments, day and night. It's a 24-hour college, I believe. This university, and everywhere, you go, even in my college where I am teaching, I think it is more about, paperwork and things like that, which is actually impacting the students a lot. Having said that, I feel it is the role and it is a responsibility of an individual student. What you can take from that, what you can grasp from that, because the system is not going to change. It is very difficult to change the system. You have to accept this fact that this is the system, right? But what should I do as a student? But the best part with all you students is that in our times we didn't have internet and we didn't have easy access to knowledge. I couldn't get a knowledge on a click of a button. I had to go to a teacher and ask her that I did not understand this, please explain me. For you people, that is not a big thing. You just click a button and you get a knowledge, right? So that way it is very good. The only issue is that you people have to give time to that, right? Because with your generation, the distractions are really high. That is also there. So you have a lot of distractions in your life, which is impacting all of you. But I think you have to take your own responsibility. That is very, very important.
It is very fascinating to hear that comparisons. This brings me to my next point. In engineering colleges, and especially in the competitive spaces, this has become an unspoken culture where sleepless nights, burnouts, and constantly being busy are worn as a badge of honor. Why do you think people attach a sense of pride to being exhausted?
because you're not taking care of your emotional being. You also are an emotional being. You're not just an intellectual being. All of you are just running for careers and only thinking about marks and grades and all of that. What happens to your emotionality? You're not thinking about that. That is giving you a burnout. That is what is happening with you all. It is very important that you make or you create instead of a work-life balance, you create a intellectual and emotional balance between yourself. That is very, very important. Challenges are going to come every now and then. This is just basic. This is nothing. If you look at your challenges, if I just talk about your challenges, what is your challenge? Assignments on time, delayed assignments, teachers' expectations, all of that, right? Or what else is financial constraint? Probably you have that, right? But what is so what is happening to your emotions? You are keeping it in the side and saying, okay, no, I have to finish my work. This is my work, I have to finish it. No, take a step back, sit down and relax for 5 to 10 minutes. It's only 5 minutes technique that I will tell you in the end. It's a 5 minutes technique that you have to adopt to understand. So, and when you say engineering students, it's not about engineering students. Anywhere you go, there is a lot of burnout with students because expectations of the teachers, your self-expectations is too much. Forget about your teachers or your parents or anybody. You yourself are expecting too much from yourself. Are you aware of that? Are you all aware of that is my question. You are expecting too much. You see somebody else and you say, oh, he's doing so much, I also have to achieve. He presented a paper, I want to present it. Isn't that? Your journey is an individual journey. Always remember that. It is your individual journey. Okay? So, and each of you are individual person. Okay? Your pace should be different, will be different from other person. So, if you're trying to follow, if you're in a race, then you're going to have a burnout. Alright? Yes, first 25 years of your life is a time of hard work. Everyone should do that. Even it is written in our mythology that first 25 years of any child or any individual is of hard work. If you're sleeping for 16 hours and then you are thinking that you will have big achievements in your life, very, very difficult. Not possible. Your burnout is why? Because you procrastinate. I will do it later. Let's go with a friend to a movie. But your assignment has to be submitted today. Because I'm delaying all my projects. Chale jayenge aaram se, I'll go, it's okay, doesn't matter. So I'm not doing my things now. There is no discipline in your life if you actually look at it. So that is why the burnout is more. If you actually see. So if you start working now, what will happen? The burnout will not be there. Why does it happen? Because last moment you realize I did not finish a task. That's what you realize. Yes, or I'm not ready to write my exam. Remember what happens when you are studying the last moment? I would have gotten some more time. I would have done so well. You keep delaying that. That is what happens. So, I don't think it is an engineering student's problem. It is a universal problem. And I think it is a generation problem which is there, which I think you should all be again, it is on you. It is your responsibility to look after that. Yes.
Ma'am, you talked about working at your own pace. But when we see our friends achieving more and doing more, there's this constant nudge inside us. What if we need to do more? So my question to you is, how can students stay grounded in their own journey and feel like they're not falling behind?
One simple technique is, be the leader of that person. Start appreciating people who are doing well. If you start appreciating people who are doing well, you will feel better. You will not be in that race. The problem with you all is that, with all of us in fact, is that I feel it too much in my heart. I feel it. Right? I feel he's doing so well. And in that process, see, there is a rational brain and there is an emotional brain. So your emotional brain actually dominates you that moment, and it starts envying or start feeling that, I'm not doing as well as the other person is doing, right? So what you have to do is you have to come in consensus with that and say, okay, he has achieved that, I also have to do that. There's a self-talk that you have to do to yourself and say, okay, he achieved that, I also have to do that, but I will do it in my own pace. Let me start the journey now. Do you start it, or you're just cribbing and thinking too much about it? Overthinking about all that, what other people are achieving. Yes? So that is what you have to actually look at, I feel.
That was a really powerful insight about cheerleading the person that you are getting envy of. Moving on to right now we were talking about being busy, so let's move on to the tools that contribute to our busyness. I want to talk to you about the relationship with our technology. We've always been told to stay away from screens, but it is very tough to stay away from them when studying, socializing, and even relaxing happens online. So how can students disconnect in a healthier way without feeling left out?
It's a very, very tough question, actually, because asking everyone, in fact, forget about you, even if I have to stay away from screen, it's tough, no? So I do not look at the situation in this manner. I just say, I have to do something else. I don't say I will be staying away from a screen. I will say I will do my meditation, or I will go for a sport, or I will go for my singing. So I don't say I will be, going away or not looking at a screen. I will say, okay, I'll do this. I'll do something else. So focus on that instead of focusing on that I will not do this. Focus on what you want to do. That is the only way that you can go. Screen will never leave you. It is always going to stay with you, with each of you. So it is a myth that people say that, you have to be digitally fasting. There should be a digital fasting, and I should not be into that. It's a myth, actually. It's a misconception, because somehow every one of us are addicted to screen. Yes, every one of us. So the only way is that in that 24 hours, what is that I can do in between with myself for my well-being? Are you giving yourself that much of importance? Do you give yourself that much of importance? And importance doesn't mean lying in a bed, taking a quilt and sleeping and watching a Netflix. No, that is not. You are actually doing wrong to yourself, because in the long run, it is going to impact you all. So the only thing that you can do is, okay, let me take one thing. Now, there are 4 or 5 things which students can do. Sports, if you are good at, anybody who's good at sports, so you can play. There are so many things that I see around, playgrounds and all of that. One is sport. Swimming pools are there. I see swimming pools all around. Singing clubs must be there. So you are fond of swimming. Even if you're not part of a singing club, have a little, singing within your small group that you have. 4th is dancing. If you are into dancing or something like that. So a lot of people are into meditations. If you are into meditation, Sudarshan Kriya, if somebody does that. So you have got like 5, 6, 7 techniques that you can take. Whichever you like, whatever you like, just pick that one in your life. And in a day, that one thing for half an hour, you have to do. To just, remove all that negativity from yourself. That is what you can do. So if you haven't taken, I'll not say it's a hobby. I'm not at all saying it's a hobby. Even if you do not know how to dance, lock the room, keep the music, dance and just shake yourself till you sweat. Okay? Till you sweat. Lie on the bed, keep your eyes closed, relax. That is what you have to do, half an hour. If you can do that, your negativity will come out. All of that will be out. That is what you have to do. That's it. I'm not asking you to go for you have to pay some money to go and play or do some singing, nothing. I want a guitar, mama, because some psychologist told me to, do some singing. No, not at all. Take your table, do something on that. Enough. All right. Doesn't matter. All right.
Thank you, ma'am. These insights of yours are going to help a lot of students in the long run. The conversation that we were having right now makes me, think the need and for the accessibility of mental health being. So, the mental health is now one of the most talked topics, but still there's a bit of stigma and hesitation in many people. For many, therapy is seen as growth, and for many, it seems as a weakness. What is your personal take on therapy, and what are your views on mental, and has your views on mental health evolved over time?
A very good question and very needed question in today's times. Um, Therapy is the last resort. Let me tell you, all of you, therapy is the last resort. Okay, so if you, there's no problem in going for a therapy, but do you really need it? Is my question to all of you. Do you really need therapy? Because it's something which is the last thing. It's a meditation. It's a kind of a treatment that you're asking for. Do you really want it? 90% of the students just need a simple talking, a simple expression of their pent up energy. That's it. I had a issue with my teacher or with my marks or with my achievements, and I got a kind of disappointments because of which there is a accumulation of negativity in yourself. You need to talk it out. That's it. Going to a therapist is not a problem at all. You should feel, because why I say, because why I don't know why people think it's a stigma, because you need courage to speak your problems to somebody. Everybody doesn't have a courage to talk about your problems to people, right? It's you are a strong person. That is why you are able to talk to people and tell them that I am going through this struggle of mine, right? So that is okay. But do you actually need it is my concern. So if you have any one friend, your mother, your father, may not be them, may not be your mother or your father, doesn't matter. You're not very comfortable with them and you can't speak everything to them. All right. Any friend of yours? Probably no, probably yes. If you have any one person in your life, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, or maybe a cousin, or your maternal aunt or your paternal aunt, anyone in your life, or an unknown person. If you feel comfortable talking to them, unfiltered. See, now everywhere there are filters. Whenever we take pictures, there are filters. We always talk edited versions to people. That is why we are not able to express ourselves, right? So any one person in your life, you have to just close your eyes and identify, find out that you have that one person in your life, whom you can just talk unfiltered. So then you don't need to go to a therapist. But going to a therapist is not a problem at all. Just see whether you really need it or not.
That was a wonderful candid discussion with you, Dr. Kedar. We have heard your perspectives on some of the really very important and reasonable questions that all of us are facing now. Now it is time for a rapid fire round. I'll be asking you some questions and you need to answer them as quickly as possible.
Oh.
Are you ready for that, ma'am?
Okay, let me take a deep breath.
All right.
Okay.
My first question is, one word your friends would use to describe you.
I'm versatile.
Versatility. All right. One quote that you always live by.
Life is simple, actually. Do not complicate it. Life is very simple.
Okay. One superpower you wish you had.
I really wish to go back to that Gurukul times when there was learning by doing. So most of the students were learning by doing and there was a connect with the Guru and the Shishya. So I want that times to come back.
All right. What is that weirdest thing a student has ever asked you?
It's my friend's wedding. Can you change the date of exam? I mean, it was very strange for me because for a final exams, people are asking to change the dates for a friend's wedding.
All right. What is that one habit that you always swear by?
Good, healthy food. My children are really upset about that, but yeah, I prefer.
You prefer healthy food. All right. If not psychology, what would you be doing?
Singing, playing, Maybe probably I would have been a chess player or a badminton player or a singer, good singer. I sing well. So.
All right. If you could give your 21-year-old self one advice, what would that be?
What would that be? Discipline is the key, and it has no competition. Nobody can compete if you're disciplined. So be disciplined in life.
This brings us to the end of today's episode. Dr. Sujata, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us. Your words have brought so much clarity and comforts to the questions we've all been facing and we've all been carrying for very long. To everyone listening, there is just one thing we hope you take away. It is that no one has a perfect path. There is no perfect path. It's just the one that is right for you. Whether it's choosing between placements or post-graduation, redefining success, or learning to pause without guilt. There aren't just the career choices, they are the human choices. The goal isn't to prove that you've all figured it out, but to keep showing, to keep learning, and to keep staying yourself. Thank you for tuning in to Our Perspective, a podcast by ISTE-VIT. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and most of all, stay you.